Good morning, afternoon, good evening, everyone, wherever, whenever it is that you are tuning into this, wherever it is that you are in the world. Today, I felt guided to lead a meditation on compassion. But before we get started, I wanted to address some things that I have been observing that's been coming up for me in light of recent events that have been happening in America. And even though I am based here in Sydney, Australia, I definitely feel the ripples, and I feel for my family and my friends back home in New York City, in LA, and Atlanta, in Minneapolis, and Seattle, and other cities across the country. And I have been feeling an overwhelming sense of anger, of grief, of pain. Many questions have been coming up, and I don't claim to have any answers. And so I have been sitting with that and feeling into whatever it is that has been coming up, even if it has not been pleasant. So before we begin on this meditation for compassion, I would like to share a poem that I wrote. And just know that this poem is not meant to antagonize anyone. It is simply a reflection of how I have been affected by the energy of anger and hate that is exploding across the states. So if you want to close your eyes, go for it. Feel free to receive this in any way that makes sense to you. Have you heard of chaos theory, where the flap of butterfly wings in Brazil can create a tornado in Capitol Hill? Mathematical equations proving the perturbations of even the smallest ramifications. And I am feeling the indignation of my birth nation. I am feeling the domino effect of this inhuman abomination. Floyd, Garner, Gray, beaten into annihilation. Hamilton, Anderson, Robinson, a countless list of obliteration. Harris, Scott, Rice, a pandemic of extermination. Firebombs reminiscent of 1969 Vietnam, turned over cop cars, police precincts, au revoir, looting, shooting, systemic hate propaganda from political polluting. Instagram protests of the NYPD seems like a lowbrow jamboree of suck my dick and angry profanity. Does hashtag Black Lives Matter mean kill the cops, chuck fecal matter, burn down businesses like pancake batter? Is the prerequisite of justice the vampiric thirst for blood, a hankering for cold blood, aristocratic blue blood? At least it's not a global warming flash flood. Better yet, burn down the Californian redbuds. Ancient anger that burns so hot, an eye for an eye, Babylonian robots. If you're not with us, then you're against us. Rape and pillage, fuck the boycotts. Reminds me of commies hanging grandma like a kumquat. Mommy and daddy fled to the sea. Merchants turned refugees. Get on the boat to the land of the brave. America, soon we will be saved. But instead, I was born into a land that only craves to enslave her people to behave with limited brainwaves, an enclave of depraved capitalistic slaves, greed over humanity. COVID, rescue, stimulus, insanity, rent strikes, failed, tragically, rejected, homeless, barbarity. What this really is a spiritual calamity. We don't know who we are, though we are taught to shoot for the stars. There are too many scars that imprison us behind bars. Where do we go from here? Violence only begets violence until we disappear. I do not have the answers to pacify your fears, but perhaps you might find liberation through the words of yesteryear. Martin Luther King Jr. said, "For through violence you may murder a liar, but you can't establish truth. Through violence you may murder a hater, but you can't murder hate. Darkness cannot put out darkness. Only light can do that. And I say to you, I have decided to stick to love, for I know that love is ultimately the only answer to mankind's problems. Hate is too great a burden to bear. I have decided to love. And so take a deep breath in, close the eyes, and take a deep breath out, side of the mouth, sitting with all of that, all that is arising, all that is already there. Continue breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth. And whatever it is that you're seating on, whether you're on a cushion or you're on a chair or you're on a bench, whatever it is, bring your awareness to your spine and start to rock the spine forward and backwards like a pendulum, swinging across the poles, north and south, south and north, and allowing this rocking action of the spine to help temper whatever it is that you've just received, whatever it is that you are continuing to receive, and feeling into all of that, all that is yours, all that is not yours, all that is in the collective field around pain and suffering and fear and anger and blame and resentment and injustice, all of that, sitting with that. And inviting an acceptance of the intensity of all of these feelings. Continue breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth. And noticing the sensations in your body. Is there a vibration starting from the base of your spine, or is there a pang somewhere in your abdomen, perhaps a flutter in the heart? Is there some sort of discomfort somewhere else in the neck, in the way that you are breathing? Short of breath, not breathing enough, what is it? And whatever that is, feel how all of that contracts you, your physicality, your posture, your organs, your emotions, everything becomes so contracted. We're not trying to change anything right now. We are trying to embrace the shadow of what is and to honor what is surfacing. On the next inhale, take a deep breath in. Inhale a bit more and a bit more. Hold the breath at the top. And exhale, sigh through the mouth. Inhale through the mouth this time. Exhale through the mouth. Inviting sounds if they come, inviting different movements if they come, or if it's just absolute stillness, whatever is in your truth, express that. Continue the circular breath through the mouth, in through the mouth, out through the mouth. With the flow of each inhale, rise to the top, suspend for a moment, and flow right into the next exhalation until you arrive at an empty space. And allow this breath to magnify all it is that you are picking up from your insides, from your inner ecosystem. All that has been happening, unfolding the last few days, last week, last month, last 2 months, the frustrations, the fear, the panic, the anger, all of that, let that surface. Look at it in the eye. And what the Buddhists call feeding your inner demon. Bring them out one by one. The angry self, the hateful self, the spiteful self, the fearful self, the racist self, the violent self. These are all shadows within that are reflected outwards. And however it is that it makes you feel, no matter how confronting, trust that by looking at these shadows head on, something powerful is happening. Keep breathing that in. And if the breath gets quicker, allow it to get quicker. Let the breath breathe you. If you need to move, if you need to flail, if the body needs to express itself in other ways, allow it to, listen to it. Three more big breaths like this. On the next inhale, hold the breath at the top. Inhale a bit more and a bit more. Suspend the breath and keep it there. And exhale, sigh, and let it go. Continuing to observe what's happening in your inner landscape. Now tapping into your gut, into the bowels of your intestines. Deep, deep, deep down. What is it that you're feeling, truly, honestly? And you have full permission to blame, to resent all of the shadow emotions that we are taught to not feel, that they're wrong. Whatever that is, own it. And watch how it snakes through your system. Has a certain hold on you. You might start to feel contraction in your hands or in your arms or your shoulders and your neck, or your feet or your knees. You may want to feel like you want to get up and shake or jump or scream, whatever it is. Watch that. Watch that. There's a choice to be made, to react or to respond. To respond, we must observe, we must watch, we must wait for the gap in between to make that decision. So practice sitting with the discomfort, sitting with this pain, this collective pain, of bigotry, of hate, of looking into your inner racist. We all have it, it's there. What does it look like? And how has that story played out in your life? How has it affected you? The way that you interact with others, how how you interact with yourself, how you look in the mirror. These parts that we have swept under the rug can no longer stay hidden. They must come up to the surface. You must meet them and look them in the eye if we are to change the quantum field, our reality, to change the consciousness of humanity. Continue moving through that. What is it that this seed of anger, of hate, what does it want? What does it need from you? What does it need you to understand about it? How does it need to be held? What lessons are not yet learned? Why are we running on a hamster wheel, the same cycle on replay over and over, the same ways of being, an eye for an eye, violence and violence, cycles of violence? Why? The answer lies in the self. It lies in you, it lies in me, it lies in us. Keep looking. Stay with it. Breathe. The invitation is now to breathe in through the nose, out through the mouth, or in through the mouth, out through the mouth. You choose. Any pattern of breath is welcome, so long as you're breathing. Stay with it. Practice of sitting in your own filth, in our filth, humanity's filth, what we have created all together, for the sake of ourselves and for the sake of each other and all those involved. We must own this. Keep breathing. Needs to shake, to quiver, allow it to. Spending the next few moments expressing all that needs to express itself. That's it. Stay with it. Meditation isn't always pretty. It's about truth. It's about cultivating your wisdom. It's about freedom. It's not about pretty. Keep breathing. Whatever it is that's coming out, whatever it is that you're surprising yourself with, trust that there is something on the other side to be learned. You just need to get through the muck. Feel free to place your hands anywhere on your body that's calling for that attention. And on your next inhale, hold the breath. Inhaling a bit more and a bit more. Suspending the breath. Stay full. Feeling into all of that vibration. Even hate and anger has a resonance. It has a power that can be used. Exhale, let the breath go. Breathing the way that you choose. And that power is your choice. How you use fear as a motivator, or anger to invigorate your passion, or taking the seed of hate and turning it inwards to look at why it is there. Everything has a purpose, and it is up to us to find that purpose. So the invitation is to use your breath to repurpose the fear, the pain, the anger. Take all of that magnificent power we can use to tear the world apart and turn it into something else. Redirect it, repurpose it, refurbish it. Use your breath. Out of the mud is born the lotus. Out of the mud is born the lotus. You, me, we are that lotus waiting to emerge. Wait for it, watch for it. That's it. With your intention, with your focused intention, summon the lotus that is within. The lotus of truth, the lotus of love. In the next three breaths, summon that lotus into your hands. Start to friction your hands, building heat. Gradually bring that heat to a standstill. Open your palms, your gesture of receiving and of offering. This gift created out of the filth, out of the mud. This lotus that you are holding, it is a reflection of your heart. It is a reflection of your humanity. And in this lotus contains a seed of compassion. The compassion of the Buddhas, of Christ, of Muhammad. It's the compassion that we all yearn for. Take this seed of compassion and place it somewhere on your physical body, whether your legs, your hips, your belly, your heart, wherever it is being called. You feel the warmth, the healing warmth of your hands nurture that space. And watch that seed grow. Nourish it with the breath. Nourish it with your imagination, visualization. Nourish it with your soul. From this place, broadcast the feeling of a compassionate reality where we all resonate and we all understand and empathize with each other's plights. Whatever background, whatever walk of life we hail from, we deeply understand on a human level, we are one. Send that reality out into the universe. Call that reality now into the present moment. This is our birthright. This is what we deserve. Feel that seed of compassion spreading all around your body, in front of you, behind you, to the right of you, to the left of you, above you, below you. Spinning in a magnificent sphere of vibrant energy. With each breath, this energy expands. Bigger than your room, bigger than your apartment, your house. It starts to take up space on your block, in your city, in your country. It spreads across the seas, connecting the animal kingdom, the plants, the clouds, and everything in between. And continue calling in this reality until not a single part of you or them or us is left. As far as your inner eye can see, as far as your heart can sense, this entire planet is shrouded in a field of compassion. And trust that this perspectual shift in the nature of who we are will create a ripple that will change the fabric of our consciousness. We must trust in this. Trust. Spend the next few moments cultivating this feeling. And this feeling might bring you to a place of stillness, or you might lay down. You might get up and start moving. Whatever your truth is, allow it. Sit in this field of compassion, you become the lotus born. You become a warrior of compassion, of truth, of love. You become what you are meant to become. You reach your hands out to all those like you in a mission of love, And they hear the call and you hold their hands. Your brothers and sisters, your mothers and fathers, the land, the sun, the moon, the stars. And you connect to the forces of nature that have created you. And you step into your birthright of living a life of love. Just a few more moments breathing this in. Breathe it in. Let it anchor. Let it anchor. Sitting in this field of expansive compassion and love as long as you need. And whenever it is that you are ready, there is no rush. You can slowly return, and when you do return, take care of yourself. Drink water, have some hot tea, feel free to journal, feel free to dance, to draw, to create. And stay true to yourself and stay connected to this space that you have found. And if there's anything that you should need from me, or any comments or insights that you would like to share, feel free to connect to others, so that you can be heard and that you can hear others. And remember that we are all feeling this and that we are all in this together. Thank you so much for tuning in with me and for taking this time to dive into the filth and emerging as the lotus born. I salute you, I honor you, I bow to you. Thank you. And I'm signing off.